So as you all saw from the title, today we're building an SCP base camp. It's basically just if the SCP Foundation sent a good amount of personnel into the Infinite Ikea, which, they really wouldn't do, all they send is drones, but hypothetically, if they sent some personnel and these personnel kind of settled in, they would have made a base camp. Now, by the way, for those who need an intro, howdy, Raid here, welcome back to an all-new video. It's nice to be making another episode of the subscriber build series. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's basically whatever you guys comment for me to build, I will make it in a video. So Kellen the Epic Gamer asked, make a SCP Foundation base or camp. Now, I feel like the whole entire base thing is quite interesting, but I took Kellen the Epic Gamer's comment and pretty much added the words base and camp together. So we're making an SCP base camp. By the way, before we get any further in this video, a lot of you guys that watch my content are not subscribed, so hit that subscribe button for daily SCP-3008 videos. But other than that, let's get into building the base camp. Alrighty, as always, we've got our clear plot, we are ready to build, and to be honest, today's plan is to kind of first make the fencing. Now the reason I want fencing is because we're making a base camp. If you guys don't know, a base camp kind of has to protect the personnel. The amount of items that we can use to make something today is crazy, so I'm going to keep it nice and clean and just make a genuine base camp. Alright, my boy admin programmer, he's just chilling here, but I was going to say that ladders, they're pretty much good for walls. I really don't know how I could necessarily make a lot of them, but then looking at this, they're actually going to be serving well. But if you look at it, they would actually serve really well for something like barbed wire, so that's what I'm going to do. And now if you guys don't know, stone walls are pretty much amazing and really fit the SCP Foundation personnel. Like, look at this, it just fits the SCP Foundation. When you think of them, you think of something really bland but secure, and this concrete wall, that really defines them well. Alright, so the homies Slappy and Admin Programmer are basically helping me out with this little project, and we're using Snap to Grid Range 0.5 to kind of make a small little wall enclosure. And it's going to be a nice little amount of walls, then we can add ladders on top for like barbed wire fencing, and then we'll start on what's inside. So yeah, let's actually finish this little wall. Alrighty guys, we finished it. It's a nice little base enclosure. We've just got 4 walls. They're not super huge, and yeah, for that barbed wire, I did use the ladders. It's really nice to have the homies help us. Also, Apex Indoraptor or Dino joined us here. So we've got a few of us kind of working on this little project. It's nothing big, but we're going to try to make it nice and neat. Alrighty, now the next part of the plan is to make an interior building, maybe like somewhere around here, just something for the personnel to sleep in, kind of like a makeshift tent. And then we're going to decorate it, it could have like a little seating enclosure, maybe a little research area. We already got a thick chunky boy coming in, looking at this, he's just like, what is this? Now as Slappy's working on the tent, he's got a little interesting design. I guess it is going to be a bit triangular, but I'm going to be over here making a little employee testing area, just something to do research on. The employees, they're all over, and I guess the Foundation personnel, they're just popping them into these little cages or something. They got to get that research and understand what in the world those things are. So let's do a little bit of a speed build. Alright guys, I made this little research area, and I put a little shark there because, you know, why not? I really thought it was random, but here's a little equipment area. You got a med kit, tool gun, little information sign. It looks really neat. But then over here, the SCP Foundation personnel have trapped 2 employees, and as you can see, they've got these information consoles kind of studying the genetic structure of the employees. You know, the Foundation personnel are definitely wondering why this dude is built like an inbred Alabaman, but who knows? Now on the rest of the project, we've got industrial work lights everywhere. I definitely thought that would fit the vibe of this base camp and the SCP Foundation in general. Work lights definitely add that work vibe, and the boys have kind of made a tent over here. It's really, really nice. You know, as this is a base camp, it's nothing that's going to be up for too long. Literally in a few hours, this can be taken down, and the employees and all this stuff can be cleared out. But I guess back to the building.
1 hour later.
Alrighty, so the build is pretty much finished. I've had a lot of technical difficulties. The amount of times my Wi-Fi cut out in the middle of the video was crazy, but as you can see, the boys added a few pallets and this awesome SCP logo. But yeah, the pallets were added and the crate too, to make everything a bit more makeshift, because once again, if you give the SCP Foundation a day or maybe even a few hours, they could literally clear this camp out, and it was like it was never here. Now let's get that tour. As you guys already know, here's the full 360 view of it. It's just some nice concrete or stone walls, got a random medkit on the floor. You know, we got these ladders that we're using as barbed wire. I really love ladders as barbed wire. Definitely one of my favorite parts of using one specific type of furniture for something else. But if we go into the facility, I just got flung. Really, boys? Really, bruh? But yeah, if you go into the facility, you already know we got this employee area, work lights, the tool gun, and the med kit are randomly gone. Somebody needed them for something. This little blue sign I added just for more of a techie feel. But there's also this random garbage can. Once again, it fits the whole entire aesthetic of gray, which I told the guys to really use because the SCP Foundation, you know, it's pretty much gray, and that really fits the whole vibe. Now this step ladder is interesting because it can kind of serve as a watchtower. You go up here, you look for employees. Jeez, what is happening? The boys are absolutely bombarding the place. Now, we got some GameCubes over here because the Foundation kinda likes GameCubes. They're a bit of an anomaly in their own sense. We got cardboard boxes, a little wooden fence, more to make it makeshift, and also, I added a little teddy bear inside of the camp because, you know, you gotta sleep with a teddy bear at night if you're in the Infinite Ikea. Now, the food and medkit area is amazing. You know, you've got a lot of medkits, quite a bit of food, and we added this little makeshift bookcase and wall shelf to make a bit of like a countertop. You got some chips and a penguin hidden in there and some more cardboard boxes. But this is pretty much it. This is the SCP Foundation base camp. Now guys, if you want to see your build built in the video, please tell me that in the comments down below. Whatever you guys comment can get randomly selected and built. This series has definitely been one of my favorite ones, and I genuinely enjoy doing it, but as you guys know, for a raid tradition, you already know what we gotta do at the end of the video.